Hey everyone, it's Ann, just Steel City Scented. Hope you are doing great. Thank you for joining me for Fragrance Freestyle number 2 today. I had intended to actually do this prior to Valentine's Day because there was a lot of discussion going on about rose fragrances obviously being Valentine's Day, and you are supposed to receive or give roses for Valentine's Day. My thoughts on that I'll leave aside. So I was thinking, what rose fragrance do I really love that no one else, I shouldn't say no one, a lot of people are not familiar with, that is not crazy expensive or hard to find. There are a lot of those that we can discuss later. I think my favorite being Original Clinique Aromatics Elixir by Carnation, and the male counterpart to that being Aramis 900. But this fragrance that we'll talk about today is fairly easy to find on eBay. You don't have to get the original version for it to be still stunning. And it's beautiful. Now warning, this is 80s, shoulder pads, loud, fantastic. And it is none other than Animale from originally Suzanne Delon. So let's take a trip about the house. So that's not to be confused with this one. So this is 1987, Animale. This is 1991. So if you see on the Ebes, as I like to call it, which is an evil place, like just a terrible evil. It's like the 7th layer of hell. This one looks like this. This one looks like this. So again, 87, 91, both great fragrances. This one focuses more on blackcurrant than this one does. So anyways, you can grab this one for sure, but talking today about this one. Okay. So, the original producer of Animale was a lady called Suzanne Delon, and she actually did work on a lot of perfumes I didn't know. She doesn't get any credit for them. She worked on, she worked on Lancôme Magie Noire. She worked on Lancôme Trésor. Let me remember what else she worked on. Hold please. She did work, hold please. Okay, I'm glad I looked this up because I would have been embarrassed to not mention this. She did work for Chanel Cristal, original Chanel Cristal in 1974. That's an amazing fragrance. In any formulation, I would recommend getting the order, not credited. Chanel Coco Mademoiselle in 84 and 2001 respectively, Lancôme Trésor and Lancôme Poème. So if you're familiar with those, a majority of them have beautiful florals, and this also does. So we'll walk through a brief history of the house. I'm not going to discuss the transactions of changing hands, but we'll just mention that only briefly because there's some, really not for this one, differences in manufacturers, right? But there are differences just in manufacturers and years and price, of course. So if you're going to look up this, you'll see like some bottles that are $110, some bottles that are $30, and there are different iterations. So she apparently launched, okay, wait, let me go back. So in 1987, Suzanne Delon, she's a Swiss-born entrepreneur residing in Houston. How did she go from Switzerland to Houston? No offense if you live in Houston. She apparently had a background in finance, investments, and importing and exporting. I don't know how that got to her being a perfumer. But it says she recognized an opportunity to translate her diverse expertise into the realm of scent creation. And she turned to a guy called Thomas E. Virtue. That is an ironic name if he is in finance. He was a seasoned leader in the fragrance world and the president of Bertrand Dupont. I don't know what the hell that is. And then, so anyways, they got together and this baby of Animale was born. And they launched it on June 1st, 1987, at Bloomingdale's, Airline Friedman, Peter Cleland, and Ontu Miller. I don't know what those are. Was it a mall? Department stores back in the day? No one goes to the mall. Anyway, so go look up the ads. The original ad for this perfume. It's a beautiful woman in this badass tiger makeup with this giant ass hair. So cool. Like I'm legit making that into a t-shirt. Super cool. Anyway, and they describe that as steamy, stormy, sensuous. A scent as lush and expectant as the jungle before a storm. Exciting as the tension between the hunter and the hunted. Animale. Presented in its creator's signature lightning bolt flacon, which okay, let's just stop for a second. If you look this up, there are parfum versions that come in 7 mLs, 30 mLs. And they're these badass little bottles. The 7 mL is this big, 30 is about this big. They're crystal. and they have a lightning bolt down the center. The cap for the lightning bolt for the 7 ml is just clear. The 30 ml is purple and green. So those come in like traditional flacon boxes. That's the Parfum Extrait. This EDP version is, I honestly think this is more wearable because it projects a lot more, but that's what they mentioned when they mentioned the flacon. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's go through the notes. And then we'll talk about my experience, where I'd wear it, and comparables. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, sorry. So let me get back to, per Parfumo, the top notes are Coriander, Bergamot, green notes, Hiacynth, Neroli, and Rosewood. Mid notes being Lily of the Valley, Carnation, Honey, Jasmine, and Rose. Ylang-Ylang and Orris root. So the rose component comes out again in the mid, and I don't know what kind of rose they're using or if they're using synthetics. The base notes, Civet, Oakmoss, Vetiver. It mentions coconut as a blender, Musk, and Patchouli. So I did mention, though, that the differences in formulations really does not play a big deal because the Oakmoss is not like the star of the show, right? So if it were something that were super, super Oakmoss heavy, that would be more of a concern. But again, formulations. So I sprayed this on like 20 times yesterday and this morning. And I mentioned Paloma Picasso the other day. So Hiacynth is a note you really don't see a ton anymore. It's, when you spray this, you get citrus notes, you get Hiacynth like right from the get. It's so beautiful. And some rosewood like on your skin. This opening persists a little bit longer than other citruses that I've smelled on my skin anyways, right? But the mid notes, I think, is where all the action happens, right? So, like, it mentions Lily of the Valley, Carnation, Honey, Jasmine, Ylang-Ylang, Orris root. Those are some sexy, sexy notes. The Carnation's spicy. The honey is a little bit animalic. The rose is, it's not like a really fresh rose at all, by any means. But it's not a really dark rose either, so, I don't know if they just use, I don't know. But the Ylang-Ylang, the Orris is more rooty than it is iris. So it's sturdier again than like something fleeting like iris. And then about 2-3 hours later, you get to that base, right? So the Civet is not overpowering this fragrance. Right now it's like vetiver and some patchouli. But think about being in the jungle, right? So you have lush flowers everywhere on trees. You have more flowers everywhere, right? And this jungle happens to have carnation, jasmine rose. And then you get the jungle floor, right? So you have that patchouli, you have civet, like this feral smell from the civet, some vetiver being earthy, and then musk because of the jungle. So I think this note profile, the advertisement could have been more appropriate. Okay, so I'm talking a lot about this fragrance. I just love it. So where would I wear this? Anywhere, honestly. But again, this can be kind of strong, so just limit your sprays if you want to at first to try it. And comparables, on Parfumo they say that it smells like Ungaro Diva, which is an awesome fragrance that you talk about, and then Montana Parfum de Peu, which is also amazing. I don't think it smells like Salvador Dali for women from 1983, but some people said it did, so I don't have enough time on TikTok to review those. I'll have to go on YouTube and talk about Animale Diva and Parfum de Peu. But the formulation differences. So the first manufacturers of this were Suzanne Delon. The second version is called Parlux, P-A-R-L-U-X. And this one is, what the hell is this one? This one, got any of my eyes checked. This one is Animale Parfum Distributing. I'm sorry, it went Suzanne Delon, then Animale Distributing, then Parlux, and now it's being marketed by a company called Phallic Fragrances. Great name. So, again, being not terribly Oakmoss heavy, I think really any bottle would suffice. It's not like Inteus or Koros where it's like, oh, the older versions are the best. If that's your taste preference, then cool. But these are not terribly expensive to find. The Parfum version, again, is more concentrated. I prefer this version, but this is, again, this would be my skanky fragrance train. I should have mentioned that. Choo-choo. So we're on that light side. But, all right, guys, this is just a rose to consider. 1987. I think it's awesome. So, all right, guys, have a good day. Take care. Bye.